Another week, boys, and another TWAB. This week at Bungie, happy TWAB Day Guardians. How are you doing? How many fish have you caught? Have you skedaddled through the dungeon yet? What's your favorite thing so far about the season? And what about deep breaths? Okay, it's time to calm down. It's just something special to see all your social posts tackling Ghosts of the Deep, working with Sloan, and did I mention fishing already? It gets us pretty hyped. Anywho, let's get back on topic. Here's what we shared last week and what we're going to read about today. Last week's TWAB Marathon was announced. Our new PlayStation crossover, Guardian Games, has concluded. Save the dates for Season the Deep, cutscenes for days, Guardian Ranks Reminder, and Aquanaut is now available. Now this week, we've got a Ghost of the Deep recap, dungeon theme items in the Bungie store, Pride at Bungie announcements, Imp starts, Prime Gaming update, the weekly update from the player support team, and weekly Art of the Week and Movie of the Week picks. Now starting with the dungeon. Were you one of the Guardians who dove deep into the Thai arcology only to arrive face to face with the Lucent Hive? Did the Lightbearer Knights, Ogres, and Wizards show as a blip on your radar, only to be taken down by your fire team in a blaze of insert your favorite subclass energy? And how was your battle with Sumama, your Nakru? Did you rise from the waters in your shiny new armor with your fancy new weapons ready to fight on? Your will has been tested yet again, and you have triumphs. Congratulations, Guardians. You deserve this victory lap. Yeah, guys, we actually just did our solo run last night. Dude, that boss is thick. Almost too thick. But we made it happen, and let me just say, we will have that cut up here pretty soon. But it is honestly the worst solo run you will ever watch in your life. No lie, I'm kind of embarrassed to even show it. But the reason why we want to show the first version of our solo run is so that eventually we can perfect things and get even better. So be looking out for that one. Now, new Bungie Rewards. Speaking of the dungeon and its sweet rewards, we now have the Ghost of the Deep Dungeon Hoodie, Ghoul Title Pin, and Ghost of the Deep Dungeon Pins available for purchase. These Bungie Rewards will be available only to players who complete the Ghost of the Deep Dungeon by August the 22nd. Ah, look at that. Colorful. Actually, looks like something out of Marathon, right? Yeah, guys, if you're interested in this hoodie, you can head on over to the page. Also, we have Pride at Bungie, Eyes Up Guardians. It's June, and June is Pride Month here in the States. So just as we have in the past, be sure to keep your eyes on the blog for future Pride updates coming soon. But if you're feeling festive and want to do something rad for a good cause with a cool reward, head on over to Bungie Pride to earn the Infinite Prismatic Emblem for a $10 donation, and all funds raised during the month of June will go directly to the It Gets Better project. Now moving on to Start. You all may have seen this on Twitter already, but we wanted to make sure you saw we released a marathon themed emblem in Destiny 2 for all players today. Go redeem it now. Yeah, guys, this is the code and the emblem, and no lie, it's a pretty fire emblem. Like better than the gifted emblem in Twitch's store. Now, Prime Gaming updates. Welcome to the latest Prime Gaming updates. It's finally time for me to give up the skedaddle shenanigans and let you in on where that came from. This month, we are vanishing into thin air and then transmatting out with our ghosts and skedaddling on over to the next fishing hole. We have the Ninja Vanish emote, the Redline Ghost Shell, the Skedaddle Legendary Sparrow, and the Deep Ghost Projection. Again, guys, you can redeem all of these things if you have Twitch Prime. Now, moving on to some known issues. Lightfall Dungeon Key. Players experiencing issues accessing the Ghost of the Deep dungeon should be aware of the following vital information. Players must acquire the Rise quest from Hawthorne in the tower in order to launch into the dungeon for the first time. Ownership of the Lightfall Dungeon Key is required. This is included in the Lightfall Plus Annual Pass Edition, or it can alternatively be purchased on its own through the Eververse store. It's not included with the purchase of Season the Deep. Again, guys, I've mentioned this a lot. Bungie has separated these two things, the season and the dungeon, and I think the dungeon's like $20. We're going to be talking about monetization here soon. With that being said, though, I still firmly believe that if you play this game year-round, the Lightfall or the annual expansion plus the annual pass edition together, that bundle is so much better than trying to buy these items separately. Buying them separately is way more expensive. Now, granted, if you're just wanting to play and just dabble for this season, by all means, you can pick up the dungeon or you can pick up the season pass all on its own. Now, players missing their dungeon key from the purchase of the Lightfall Plus Annual Pass Edition need to log into Destiny 2 on the platform where that purchase was made to then unlock the dungeon key on their account. And at this point, it will be available on all platforms linked through cross-save. Now, dungeon keys are applied to individual Bungie accounts and cannot be game shared. Now, anyone still experiencing issues that do not fall into one of the above categories can reach out to us via our missing Eververse or add-on item contact form where we can investigate further. Now, other known issues, some players are unable to give out commendations. Players can get stuck outside of the final boss arena after self-reviving in the Ghost of the Deep dungeon. The hive symbols in the side rooms of the Ghost of the Deep dungeon final encounter do not respawn within an encounter cycle if a player dies before depositing their vestige. They will reappear as expected once players have completed a damage phase. Now, the Sunbracer's exotic Warlock gloves are not extending the duration of solar grenades. Somebody brought that up here recently. That's not to say that Sunbracers aren't still good, but yeah, something's going on right now. We're having some issues synergizing with things like Touch of Flame, not extending that duration of solar grenades. I definitely want to push out a new build of this, but I'm waiting for this to get fixed, guys. Now, the cooldown timer for the Navigator Exotic Trace Rifle's Catalyst is missing a description and will display as a blank timer when activated. We did our review of that. Currently right now, guys, when you activate the grapple and then shoot it, you have a cooldown. Unfortunately, there's no description. It just shows a countdown timer in the bottom left end of your screen, but during that cooldown, you cannot make another grapple point with the Navigator. Now, getting frozen kills while using the Arbor Warden Exotic Titan chest can sometimes cause players to lose the Barrier Nade class ability. Respawning after player death or unequipping and re-equipping the exotic will restore the intended class ability. Now, getting kills with Skyburner's Oath and Vesper Radius is causing larger explosions than intended. And I wonder if this is actually what contributed to Vesper Radius getting disabled. Now, some Iron Banner weapons are missing their glare in the Crucible. The Arthur's Embrace Exotic Hunter Arms does not display the Strengthened Heavy Knife pop-up when activated in the Crucible. Players should note that the exotic is working as intended. It's only the visual indicator that is missing. Now, guarding with the Arcstaff Super while using the Blight Ranger Exotic Hunter Helmet is consuming extra super energy. Thank God. We did our damage testing the other day, and we noticed that Blight Ranger was doing less damage, and it's because it's consuming extra super energy. Again, the change to Raju's harness somehow hopscotched over here to Blight Ranger. That's our theory, at least, thus nerfing Blight Ranger. And I know there's like one person in all of Destiny that's actually using Blight Ranger on a day-to-day basis, but still, this exotic needs all the help it can get. Now, the Stronghold Exotic Titan Arms are not always granting the restoration buff when expected. Yeah, there's definitely some finicky stuff going on with Strongholds, both good and bad. Now, the new season, the Deep Exotics are not dropping from the Vex Strike Force activity, which is very unfortunate considering that's the whole point to that activity, right? Like if you miss a lost sector, you do that activity in hopes of getting an exotic you do not have. Now, I do want to touch up real quickly on some hot fixes that went out, both on the 26th, which was last Friday, and one that went out today. Now, for today's hotfix, update 7.1.0.1, Crucible, they fixed an issue where all players could hear all crest pickup sounds in the game mode Supremacy. Salvage, fixed an issue causing players to lose connection to the activity during the boss encounter. Now, Guardian ranks, they fixed an issue in which the champ title was not counting for progress related to Guardian ranks objectives. They also fixed an issue in which rank 7 objective Centrifuge was not progressing when using the weapon in PvP. Now, gameplay and investment, armor. Exotic armor focusing at Raoul now has similar stats to dropped exotic armor. Now, I'm gonna say this, I'm not gonna believe it until we actually go try it. I have actually done exotic armor focusing 3 times, and 3 times I have gotten terrible stat rolls. I'm talking 61, 62, and 64. And considering the cause, previously it was definitely not worth it. Granted, we'll be live later today. We're gonna try it. Hopefully this is better though, because we need at least, in my opinion, for that cost, 68 plus stat rolls. And I know some of you like, Cross, that's way too much. No, for the cost that it requires, plus an exotic cipher, dude, I need that 69. Now, fix an issue where the exotic Warlock Helmet Cenotaph Mask didn't have the correct description. That's also a fantastic exotic, literally infinite heavy. Now, weapons. The 2-second window where a weapon cannot be fired after swapping to it from inventory screen was now reduced to 1 second. That is a huge change here. Now, reduce the size and intensity of the muzzle flash on the Perpetualist auto rifle. Not sure that's gonna make it meta. I will say this, it has some of the nastiest rolls in the game, but Rufus is just better. Let's just be real. Now, fix an issue where the Dark Decider did not have firing audio. Now, Trials Glaive Unexpected Resurgence moved Impulse Amplifier from the right trait column to the left and added Swashbuckler and Volt Shot to the right trait column. I don't know about you guys, I'm kind of burnt out on glaives. Trident Vice was like my last hope, but it came up short, and well, honestly, glaives in general are just coming up short for me. And I know there's some people out there like, Cross, I'm able to block things and stay alive. Look, that's great and all. I'm just saying there are other ways to stay alive and still be way more deadly offensively. If you like glaives, use glaives. We're definitely going to be reviewing the Trials glaive when it drops, which is probably going to be next weekend, but I don't really expect this glaive to really move the needle. Now, abilities. Fix an issue where hunters could lose their suspending slam after being revived. And bounties and pursuits. Fix an issue where some players were unable to progress the Into the Depths pursuit due to the helm and its portal not appearing. Now, as far as the hotfix from last Friday, that was in regards to Vesper of Radius Exotic being disabled as it was creating chain explosions. Personally, we re-reviewed Vesper of Radius in our pre and post testing for every sandbox change, and I found Vesper to just be really good now. Like, nothing about it spoke to me as being broken. Now, fix an issue where completing Crucible matches on Meltdown was not rewarding pursuits or objective progress, and they also fixed an issue allowing players to acquire duplicate awards from the subclass mastery quests. They also fixed an issue causing exotic focusing to drop with lower stat rolls than intended. So the reason why I bring that up is because today's hotfix is the second time they have mentioned exotic focusing being fixed, which is why we're going to be testing this afternoon. I'm going to waste my materials, come by our stream. Hopefully we get some high stat rolls, but we'll see. Guys, that is your TWAB for this week. As a final note here from Sam, and there we have it, Guardians. This week's TWAB. Being just 2 weeks into the season, there's plenty to do and even more fashion choices to go through, and so many fish to catch. Also, who can tell me which pulse rifle or scout rifle is your favorite this season? I'm an Outbreak player through and through, but this is the season of Sam changes it up. So any and all suggestions are welcome. All right, it's time for us to skedaddle, but we wanted to share one more thing. Before you click, just a quick note, there are no plans to unleash this Giga Screep on you in the live game for now. Stay crafty, Sam. Now, if you're wondering what he's talking about, guys, prepare yourselves. I'm about to show you one of the scariest things I think you will ever see in all of Destiny. Bungie decided to scale up Screeps 5 times. And this is like the opposite of what they did with the mini Screeps. Now, I don't know if Bungie's gonna actually put this in the game. I mean, I wasn't expecting mini Screeps to be put in the game, but yes, this would be terrifying. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this. Would you like to see this? And again, if we have this in the game, I'm sure we're gonna get things like bigger explosions. They just look so creepy though, man. Like, regardless of what they may do to us when they explode, which will most likely be more damage, more radius, all that stuff. It's just the way they move, dude. It's the stuff of nightmares. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.